for an hour, and then I've got a coaching session to do. So to the bottom right hand side, we'll have our green Terran player. Let's hear it, guys, if you're cheering on LucifroN. Down here to the bottom right. And then to the bottom left is going to be our red Zerg player. It is going to be SortOf. The winner of this best of 3 series goes to DreamHack Tours, plays in the WCS Championship. They get $1,500 just for winning this series, essentially, because, well, they do it because they'll be in the round of 32 at least, which is now $1,500. Of course, a chance to play a best of 5 to get $4,000 instead, and so on and so on. Of course, I mean, it's not just winning this game right now. It is kind of, well, that's all that's left, but of course they've had a grueling trek through the brackets, through the winners bracket until they knocked down through the losers bracket too. LucifroN got knocked down to the losers bracket. I can't remember who by right now, but got knocked down a few rounds before SortOf. SortOf was in the qualifying match yesterday against SortOf playing the qualifying match. Bly played Happy, Strange played Daishi. Who was it? You fella played Guru. Who was the other guy that qualified? And I'll probably remember who it was that beat SortOf. Well, I really can't remember at all. Vortex, yes, Vortex beat SortOf and knocked him down in the losers bracket in the in the final round of the winners. So we're gonna be seeing an SCV just scanning around early for LucifroN, just checking to see if it's a pool first or a hatch first, so just making sure he knows what's going on early as the Reaper expands over on his own side of the map here. Down to the bottom right, Ruins of Endian. This map where we see 3-4 base play come up fairly often, fairly frequently here. So we're just going to see this Reaper coming down towards the lower left hand side. And LucifroN just going to be popping up here and having a look to see what is going on. He's actually being able to pop in not to see what's going on, but also pick up a drone kill. So drone goes down, and Zergling's just under a little bit of fire here right now as well. There's another grenade comes in, and this Reaper's just going to look to get another little bit of damage done against these couple of Zerglings here and there. Let's see a factory and a CC on the way up for LucifroN too, of course. I mean, CC is just the natural CC, nothing to really mention there. The factory is, of course, just the follow-up now to what was the Reaper expand. Actually, no reactor from LucifroN, which I find somewhat strange. He's actually prioritizing Marines to just come out and kill off these rocks here early. So I'm intrigued to see where we go with this. Star portal will come down. Do we see a tech lab? Do we see a tank? I mean, what do we see here out of LucifroN? Maybe a Widow Mine, and then a kind of a Widow Mine Marine drop. Definitely a possibility still. And as we're going to see, these Marines just working away, killing off these rocks, and we're just going to see Reaper just popping around, having a look to see what's going on. He hasn't seen a third base just yet, which is maybe the concerning thing right now for LucifroN. Not seeing a third base. I mean, he sees his opponent wants to take a third base, but just wondering why it's taking him so long to get into that. He is just going to double check that. Just see it. Lair is on the way from SortOf, which is the reason why it is a little bit delayed here. And speed up, and then you're going straight into the Lair afterwards. So probably just a very fast Spire coming in out of SortOf. As we see Medivac on the way up. Widow Mine's there as well, so pretty much as we were saying, kind of the Widow Mine Marine drop coming in from LucifroN. We're going to see a reactor dropping down in the barracks, a tech lab on the way up on the factory, and they're so just getting pushed away over to the right hand side a little bit. These Marines just coming down as well. Looks though they're going to Medivac's going to pop out, come fly over, pick up the Widow Mine first, then pick up the Marines afterwards. And let's see what sort of damage LucifroN can get done with this first drop of the game. He's going to go into a third CC of his own. In fact, he's already finished that up, build that in position, so he's got that third CC up and rolling already. There's a couple of extra barracks get added on as well from LucifroN. And Bolt Marine just going to work his way against the Soverlord. Soverlord going to get popped. And as we see LucifroN flying past a Sporkroller to kind of get in here. Medivac will be targeted by this Queen. So, ooh, a single drone comes in actually. Kind of gets hit by the Widow Mine onto the Marines. And this drop does nothing at all. SortOf cleans it up very easily. And actually kills off absolutely everything there. So very easy clean up from SortOf here. And off to a pretty solid start himself in game number 1. The Spire on the way down, as we mentioned, we might be seeing a little bit before when we saw that lair on the third base. And has that been in this too. So SortOf just playing very standard. One of the things he will be behind in this game will be the upgrades. Actually, I love what LucifroN's doing. The 5 racks play, well, not the 5 racks play, we're going up to 5 racks, right, you know, nice and quickly, not really delaying his production for anything. Yeah, Stim combat shields. He's going to kind of attack kind of aggressively, probably through the bottom side of the map here as time goes by. Of course, he's doing it off of a third CC, so it's not super aggressive. I still just like it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much standard, right? But it's just, you know, it just feels as though he's not letting anything get in his way between him just and set up into 3 bases and beginning to attack and continuing to attack throughout. Engineering Bays will be finishing Form 2, so he can start his own 1-1 upgrades, and that'll definitely be, you know, what he has an advantage over his opponent here, who commits into kind of fast mutalisks more so than anything else. So, and fast mutalisks are going to be coming up in place of upgrades also from SortOf, as we have him just spreading a little bit of creep over to the third base, just pushing out onto the map with some of this as well. Actually have quite a lot of creep out through into the middle, and a whole bunch of creep just going to be coming up over here as these first meters are going to be coming down to the south side of the map. Thank you very much, Finns, for the sub. Can we get some SHI hearts in the chat, please? For Finns, a resub, but a little bit of gap in between the subs. So welcome back, Finns. Appreciate it. As we see these, I mean, let's just going to be working their way through a barracks here. A little bit of damage being done. A few Marines being pushed away to the left-hand side. And a couple of Marines just going down. Nothing too much really achieved by these meters, though. A little bit of damage, but not too much. More meters on the way, actually, instead of kind of really committing into his upgrades and so on right now. So just a few more meters coming up, looking to really keep on harassing here, it seems. As woohoo! LucifroN, what a god. Picks up that Marine, saves it. A lot of people would have just let that Marine die, but not LucifroN. He keeps that alive, keeps that safe. And we're going to see a turret here, going to push back. Those mutalisks, and then meters will be pushed away. +1/+1 upgrades going to be finishing up here shortly for LucifroN as well. As again, that will be his advantage for the most part of this game, a big upgrade lead to work with heading in towards later stages. However, he'll lose it slightly because his armory is slightly late. I mean, he'll still have it, but it won't be for, you know, the time windows won't be quite as large as, oh my god, the turret. Now he doesn't even go down after he loses a mutalisk trying to get it, so he's coming in once again. We're going to see some Marines continuing to fall. And we do see these mutalisks still just looking around, looking to see what's going on. Marines coming in over towards the left side once again. Marines just going to push back once again as well. Fourth base is on the way for SortOf, so he's actually going to choose to expand upwards on the map rather than into this pocket expansion. So not going to allow this kind of... I mean, it makes sense because the Terran players will love to push through this bottom side of the map, so not going to expand into somewhere which can be pushed easily. And this fourth base up here is much harder to push into, especially with the creep spread, which has been, well, completely uncontested, honestly, by LucifroN. He's done nothing at all. You're going to see these Marines just pushing the meters away. You see this from beginning to kind of push down his bottom left side. He's actually gone into a lot of tanks here, which is, well, oftentimes said not to be the best against kind of the Mutilating Bane playstyle. You're going to see the Marines just working their way through this bottom side, going to take down these rocks, and going to be able to move on through this south side. But, well, turrets are on the way up. Well, they're actually going to go down here. Marines going to get taken down as well. Another turret's going to fall too. And, well, Marine's just going to be stimming in and just trying to keep on cleaning up these mutalisks. As LucifroN was pushing into this direction now, but instead has to turn around and sort of really starting to kind of just pull LucifroN apart a little bit with these mutas. However, as soon as LucifroN has a moment or two to kind of get away from all these mutas and to kind of get across the map, he'll probably start doing very well because 2-2 is very close to finishing. We're yet to see that start up from SortOf still over to the left-hand side. See a few Marines just moving forwards and just a little bit of creep spread being pushed away. So finally LucifroN does something about this creep in the center of the map. Again, if he's planned to push down through the bottom side, then the creep doesn't matter as much, but you still need some sort of, you know, I mean, the way this game's going to play out, I don't think you can let this creep just stay in the middle of the map forever. And as the meter count continues to rise for SortOf, his own 2-2 upgrade starting now as well. He's going to be coming straight in here right now, and it's going to be a 4th CC being cancelled, so LucifroN, obviously his plan is to take the 4th CC in this location here, and just really stay in this kind of bottom right, the bottom right kind of section of the map, basically. One more bin starting to morph in, Ling's just coming over to the left-hand side. Yeah, there's just a couple of Marines kind of scouting around over here more than anything else. They have a run by set up to the right. LucifroN is setting up kind of a wall to try and protect his third base. There's this big push down the left-hand side. This is a really large push down this left-hand side. You're going to see some SVs going to try and come in and repair that bunker. Keep it safe from these Zerglings, but we're actually going to see once again he's, well, doesn't Banelings coming in. So once again, LucifroN has to turn around. He has to pull back over to the right-hand side, protect his third, but it's going to take a lot of damage. SCVs come back in to try and repair it, but there's some more Banelings. Cleans them up. He will be able to protect this third CC. The turret goes down as these mutants escape to the right-hand side. And this is kind of like why we usually nowadays just see kind of Terran players playing with the Liberators, because Mass Muta is very good. This is why the Liberator was initially introduced as a way for the Terran to really have an answer to kind of things such as Mass Mutalisks. Kind of a mobile, kind of large anti-air unit, which, you know, a mobile anti-air unit which is very fast and able to kind of shut down Muta clouds. But LucifroN decides not to make Liberators at all in this game, and instead finds himself for the majority of the game running around after all of these Mutalisks time to time. SortOf is playing this wonderfully, because every time LucifroN wants to try and attack through the bottom side of the map, SortOf just attacks in and just stops him from even getting close to breaking through the second set of rocks. So these kind of attacks just keep on hitting from SortOf and LucifroN. I mean, over time he's just been worn down, of course. I mean, you can't hold on like this forever. Tank's going to unload here. Marine's going to try and run in. I mean, it's a pretty nice trade from LucifroN here as he does push this away. And a straight up fight off creep and up into a high ground position. That's something which, you know, just sort of can't attack into. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely taking advantages, but not that much of an advantage. As you see, Hive about to finish up, so we'll see SortOf beginning his late game transition. And I mean, soon enough, LucifroN will have to start his late game transition as well. He's still just on Marine tank right now. Medevac's moving over to the left-hand side. He's going to take down these rocks so he can take his fourth base. And may just keep on pushing down this left-hand side and move on into his opponent's side of the map for, well, pretty much the first time this game, as though, that being said, the Muta's taking a lot of damage here. Wow, flying right over their Marines. That's a huge mistake by SortOf at just a slight moment. And all of a sudden, he loses a whole chunk of Mutalisks. Run by attempt in towards the third base once again is not going to be successful, as LucifroN is now down over on this side of the map. I mean, SortOf is still trying to kind of run by over here. LucifroN will see how many Banelings are over there. Tank's already unloading. There's a few Marines pulled forwards already. There's these Leon's Banelings moving forwards, and a few more of them going to get cleaned out. You're going to see a couple of Spankles just getting taken down. Another couple of Banes connecting. You see the army moving on through in towards this natural expansion now. So SortOf still counter-attacking here. Still getting a lot of damage done. Lovely Bane is going to see LucifroN raising these depots to try and buy himself some more time, of course. You're going to see him just moving forwards, taking out a spine crawler. Natural mineral line is just ravaged though. And SortOf just setting up defensively on his own side of the map, and I feel as though he should have more than enough to really fight against this whenever he decides to fight. And he's playing it, you know, the patient game. You'll see these Mutas over this third base. Well, they're taking some damage as well. More links streamed in. The Marines over here are just so heavily overstimmed though. Lots of Banelings on the way back home to help clean out once again and just to help push this army back. There just isn't that much here for LucifroN. I mean, he'll take down the natural expansion, but that really should be about it compared to, well, I mean, his natural mineral line got cleaned out. The third base has been forced to lift and move away again. 22 SCVs now to 70 to 60 drones, with a few more going down now. Army supplies are, well, surprisingly even, as we do see, well, these tanks. We got a lot of damage done onto these Banelings as they run up the ramp. The fungal growth is going to make sure a lot of these go down, as the Mutas are going to be trying to chase down these medevacs once again. Sorry, I had hiccups, which is why I was stopping and starting. I still have them. Oh my god. What time to get hiccups? As we're in game number 1 of SortOf LucifroN qualifying match here. Oh my god. For the WCS Championship. And you see a push through the bottom side once again, but with Infestors out now, you even have some Brood Lords in the game. And with some Brood Lords and Infestors, I mean everything together, there's just not the army which LucifroN needs to fight against this. He's going to stem forward, he's going to try and fight, but big fungal growth comes down, bit connect, and that should be that right there. GG. And SortOf take. I think we might be okay. I think we did it. I think we conquered the hiccups. Alright, to the bottom left-hand side of the map, we're going to have our green Terran player. Guys, let's hear it if you're cheering on Team Liquid's LucifroN to return from a 1-0 deficit here in this best-of-3 TvZ. To the other right, we're going to have our red Zerg player. It is going to be SortOf, currently teamless. Of course, would be fantastic for him if he were able to qualify into the WCS Championship. It's actually kind of interesting. I guess I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if well, this tournament seems as though there's like a lot of players who are missing out compared to last time around, when a lot of players didn't miss out. I'm trying to just think like why that is. I guess a lot of some of you players qualifying, such as Guru, for example, who people don't expect to qualify, but then comes in and does, and Strange as well. I'm just going to see this overall moving out. So, I mean, early on, just a hatchery first gas pool from SortOf. We're just going to be seeing from LucifroN, well, he's going to Iraq's gas-based opening. I'm going to see an SCV just coming in, just going to be taking the CC. Guys, I appreciate all your all these suggestions to get rid of hiccups, but now we've got past that now. This is the problem with the delay. I could have died because of the delay, because you guys all give me advice if I couldn't use it. God damn it. Alright, so Reaper expand here for our Terran player once again. And of course this map will play out somewhat differently because you're not necessarily just safe on 3 bases for a long time with them rocks being knocked down. So we'll see very soon how exactly this is going to go as this Reaper just starts to come across the map here from LucifroN. Zergling speed starting up, a few lings on the way out. And we're just going to see this kind of classic Reaper versus Zergling showdown for the first few moments of this game. As a couple more lings coming in, nice grenade to push back a couple of those Zerglings. And we're just going to see the Reaper coming in towards the third base as well, just seeing if there's anything there just yet, which there isn't. But at the same time, it's only 2:40 in the game, so not necessarily meant to be anything there just yet, as we will see actually LucifroN killing off a drone there. So again, second time in a row, you get a drone kill with this Reaper, which is something you don't see all the time. And there's the Reaper again, a little bit cornered though, over in the kind of upper right hand side. And Reaper just going to be coming up, and we're going to see what you can do. What am I going to do when I hit 100 subs? Well, first of all, we get new emotes at 100 subscribers, so that's quite exciting. We're going to get the SCHI Kapopa emote, the SCHI GG emote is going to be added as well. So we get new emotes, which is fun. And then we're going to have like I haven't decided exactly what it's going to be. Probably like a really long stream, like a really, maybe 24-hour stream, maybe not. Maybe just like a long stream in the evening or something with some drinks and stuff and just a bit of a, just like a fun one. You know? Something like that will be what we do. It'll be kind of like an online sub party. We had a sub party for 50 subscribers way back in July. The first time we hit 50 subscribers, and that was pretty crazy. So it won't quite be on that level, but we'll just be doing some fun stuff, having some fun games and stuff like that. As we see Hellions here, one of them going to get caught. Oh, but let go. Zergling is full of mercy today. As you see SortOf on the way down, about to finish here from SortOf. We have link speed from him, yeah we do. I mean, is a SortOf at a time where it's probably not going to be aggressive roaches, maybe a few to help defend. That being said, SortOf making 4 overlords. And then a sport crawler, and there's the Evo Gym. I was going to say, making 4 overlords looks as though they might be getting ready to just spam out roaches, but no, it is just going to be a they stand open here. If you SCVs move away, what was that? Just Zergling also in the middle line? I'm not too sure. Pew's apparently had enough. Pew's just gone. Bye, Pew. Thanks for dropping by. And we're going to see these Hellions just going to be trading with these Zerglings. Actually, this drop over here doing a little bit of damage. Not too much damage. I mean, not really finding any drones or anything. But just moving around, we're going to see him dropping over towards the base over here. But Queen in position, Roach in position. And so you'll just have to back away now. And just not get too much done. But Stim's on the way. We see third CC is finished. We've got double engineering bay coming down. And yeah, just very, very kind of standard setup to the TvZ, double engineering bay, 5 racks. Very similar to the last game overall from LucifroN. Now, again, it's not the same map at all as Runes of Endian, but we are likely to see a longer game here on this on Dusk Towers, because it's one of these maps where you can't really attack very easily. And you can. It is similar in a lot of ways to Runes of Endian. I mean, the layout's very different, but it's the sort of same idea that you can't really attack very easily into 4 bases of your opponent on this map. Now, that doesn't mean it's impossible, and it's not impossible in Runes of Endian either. But it's just very difficult, and so we generally see, if both players are evenly matched, we see it going up to kind of 4 bases and past that a lot of the time, and really into the late game. As you're going to see, it's about to finish up here from SortOf. We'll see what he techs into. I mean, he's going into melee upgrades, so it looks like the early Rotron for nothing more than just going, nothing more than really just helping himself kind of set up here. Maybe he plays like a Ling Ravager fast ultralisk playstyle here on Dusk Towers, something we see quite often. He's going to go Roach Speed, so it definitely looks as though that's probably going to be the case. And there's that Infestation Pit, so it looks as though we are going to be seeing those fast ultras on the way out in the very near future. And the Ling Ravager, I mean, the Ravagers help you to kind of really force your opponent out of position and kind of pick off tanks or whatever. And the Ling's just going to help to tank a lot to help those Ravagers stay alive. So, Ling Ravager, and then you kind of skip Banelings, skip Mutalisks, and you can just go straight into the ultras and hit your late game nice and quickly. As we're going to see a couple of tanks just moving forwards. One tank sieges, the other unsieges. Let's see LucifroN with a little bit of a push here potentially. Maybe just moves out and attacks with Marines though. Looks as though he will be leaving his tanks behind. This Viking's having a good time. Already 3 Overlord kills. So a few Overlord kills going down. And we are going to be seeing just this Viking moving around the bottom side of the map. Again, guys, we will be... This is our last series of the day for the... This is our last series of the day for the WCS EU qualifier. We'll be going into the NA qualifier in like 3 hours time or so. But we'll be offline between, in the gap there, because I've got to do some coaching. I've got to go take a nap as well, I think. But we'll be back later on for the NA qualifier and finishing that off. We didn't get to start it last night, but we'll get to finish it off today, which should be nice. We're going to see these Marines start to unload over into the mineral line. And we'll see Zerglings, well, already in a little bit of trouble. Actually, LucifroN doing quite a bit of damage with this. He's going to pick up an Overlord, a few drones. There's some Roaches and Ravagers coming in to help deflect. There's a few more Lings coming in. A couple of Infestors. Do we have Pathogen Glands? We do. So he's actually going to invest into that Pathogen Glands. And really invest into the Infestors here. Drop comes back in. The other ones, other Medivacs is backing away. Just keeping some threat up on the map, as we do see a big push through the center from LucifroN. He's actually a little bit ahead in the army supply momentarily there. If he can avoid the fungal growths, it might be a very good opportunity for him to kind of attack, but let's see. These Medevac's going to lift up 4 of these 5 tanks, which are sieged, and start moving towards this base. Another drop coming in though. He does nearly get a queen, not quite though. The Roach is there to help deflect, as we're going to see again. LucifroN just continue to drop around, trying to force more units to come into position to defend against this. We see a scan up there, and we're going to see our tanks being unloaded, and SortOf does not want to run into that straight away, but takes a few tank shots for free anyways. As we see these tanks moving a little bit further forwards, and well, LucifroN set up a very solid siege onto the 4th base right now. We're going to see this queen taking a lot of damage, not going down just yet. We're going to see tanks still shelling away here as well. Big surround coming in, big concave out of our Zerg player, exactly what he needs against, well, all of these tanks, and nice fungals to kind of lock the Medivacs in place. We do see a lift and a leave in the end. Corrosive Plasma a little bit late to kind of help out there against the with the fungal growths already in the game. Infestors have gone down though, and actually reinforcing here. LucifroN going to keep on fighting, backs away from those corrosive biles. Just take a little bit of damage, lifts up everything, will back off. But again, just doing a little bit here, a little bit there. Overall, I think SortOf is able to kind of push this back fairly easily. His Ultra Covenant about to finish, so his late game is about to begin. And our Terran player, well, if we look at him right now, 2-2's about to finish, but that's about it. I mean, and that's actually probably going to have helped out a lot in that fight for SortOf, actually 2-2 against 1-1. But 2-2's about to finish, but we don't see any kind of look, it doesn't look as though he's interested in really going in towards, say, a whole bunch of Liberators just yet. He hasn't started a Ghost Academy. So we wait to see what the kind of late game playstyle will be out of LucifroN. We didn't really get to see it last time around. He kind of just died when playing against Mutaling Bane, which is, well, that's fine. I mean, Mutaling Bane is like, it's a composition that can kind of keep you in the mid game, and the way the Mutas did so much damage kept both players in the mid game for a long time. This time around, though, we are going to hit the late game, so let's see how LucifroN tries to deal with this. Still just on this biotank army. Starts to add Liberators now. First Ultra's on the way up. Don't believe just yet there is a Kindness Plating. No, so no Kindness Plating just yet. This drop from LucifroN gets cleaned up, but does scout and lets him know now that Ultra Cavern's there. The Greater Spire's morphing in. So he knows the possibilities. 2 more Liberators on the way up. Another Star Pop. It looks like he's actually just going to play somewhat passively right now. I mean, in fairness, if in a lot of ways playing passively can pay off for him, because if he can get into his own late game, it can be very hard for the Zerg player to sort of fight against the Terran player's kind of Ghost Liberator composition. So it's all about right now LucifroN. He could have tried to hit it, time it before Ultras get Kindness Plating. I think the safe thing to do is probably just defend on 4 bases, look to take a 5th, and just kind of hold his own side of the map for now. We're going to see Medevac going to be coming in towards the main base. We're going to see some Marines stimming in towards the 4th as well. Going to get a little bit of damage done and going to pick off a couple of them spines coming up in the back. We see the Nidus network on the way down from SortOf, and I love this because the Nidus, it allows you to just attack around the map so easily in so many different locations. You know, you can drop one in the main or suddenly be in the natural, and Ultras moving around the map like that, it bypasses the kind of safety kind of net of these Liberators. Very hard to kind of constantly be repositioning Liberators throughout the game, so it can be very, very difficult to kind of deal with, as we're going to see. A couple of turrets on the way up. And there's a couple more turrets coming up. I mean, LucifroN really is just defending kind of around, in his bases while he looks to kind of, again, go into his late game. He's going to keep on dropping to just keep the Zerg somewhat busy, keep an eye on what the Zerg's doing, for example. But for the most part, he's just kind of looking to build up himself. He doesn't really mind how much damage these drops do. Of course, if they do good damage, that's great. But again, mostly just looking to distract the Zerg and keep him busy while he heads into his Ghost count, his Liberator count builds up, and so on. Here comes this Overseer, probably time for that first Nidus network of the game. We're going to see the Overseer coming in, and just going to see a turret on the way up, but that's not going to stop a speedy Overseer from dropping the Nidus in this main base if he wants to drop one. There it is. And the thing is, in this late game scenario, I mean, how often are you really looking down your minimap for a Nidus in your main base, right? I mean, you see that dot, I mean, you can figure maybe is a Nidus, but not all the time. This time, LucifroN is going to be ready for it, though, and he's going to be very ready. It goes down immediately, so this is nice, and see the Overseer going to try and come in here again. Might be worthwhile setting just a couple of Liberators onto that just to make sure he kills it off instead of having to continue dealing with these Nidus networks. Lings, Infestors, Ravagers, Ultras, all sort of moving forwards into the middle of the map. Nidus in the back of the natural this time, but Bio already over here, ready to go from LucifroN. What's actually in the Nidus network? I don't know where it is. Let's see if anything pops out of it. Try and see. Just a Ravager, not really anything important then. Where even is that Nidus network? There it is. It's got an Ultra in it. I mean, if an Ultra gets out, that can be very frustrating. LucifroN still just ping-ponging between these bases right now. Units are getting low. They need a medevac to help them out. They really do. 5th base landing for LucifroN trying to defend this over here. Nidus goes down once again. So, sort of unsuccessful so far. And we are seeing this sort of, we talked about late game setups potentially being something we definitely can see here on those towers. And it's pretty much exactly what we're seeing right now. The Riz coming in trying to fight against those Corruptors. Some Ghosts coming in, dropping some snipes. That's really nice. Never scan, and he's not going to chase with the Ghosts. Wants to be careful with those. They're expensive. Not easy to replace. The 5th base is up, and well, both players continue to expand, and we're in for the long haul here between LucifroN and SortOf in game number 2. We are in for the long haul as we see a few more Lings, Roaches moving out towards the center. And we're seeing again this 5th base is finished up now for LucifroN. His another orbital on the way, and I mean, again, more orbitals the better for a Terran player, 9 times out of 10. I like this Spore Crawler wall we see moving forwards. I mean, it really puts pressure onto LucifroN in terms of how much freedom he has to chase the Zerg down and fight against the Zerg and where he can fight the Zerg. So this is nice. Liberator just chasing Overseer down the south side. Again, so far the Nidus network play has not been successful, but we might see it kind of be something which, sort of tries again if LucifroN isn't expecting it anymore or not paying 100% attention, because it's not been tried for a while. It might be a bit better, but let's attack in towards this base. Is not going to do anything at all. Sort of just drops about 20 supply, doesn't gain anything, and just backs away very quickly. Almost immediately, but just backs away. You'll see some Marines Marauders just going to stim in and just going to clean out a few of these roaches. So some roaches going to go down. On the right hand side we see a single medevac just pulling around, still looking to kind of drop around the map as well. I mean, the Ultra over here can deny that for the most part. But still some Broodlords going to take this high ground vision, and with that high ground vision going to be able to come and attack from up here and put siege onto the 4th base, of course. And sort of going to set up with that. And a few tanks as well. I mean, Broodlords are going to be doing some friendly fire, causing some friendly fire from the siege tanks. We're going to see them Liberators on the siege, maybe looking for a fight. Let's be careful of infestors and so on. And as the game continues, LucifroN just adds on more ghosts, adds on more Liberators. It's going to be that base going down very quickly here once again. Plus 3 melee means that Broodlings, they do a lot very quickly. To say the least, they do a hell of a lot very quickly. With that plus 3 melee attack, helping them out as we see Scan coming in. And ooh, Fungal's going to grab those ghosts, and that stops them from sniping, which is really nice. He's dropping some EMPs on the infestors that come in range. He's going to move forwards with the Liberators. Fungal Growth doesn't land just yet. There's one more available. He misses once again. Is there enough Corruptors though? How many ghosts are left for LucifroN? Not many. He lost a lot of them, but the Corruptors are stacked as these Liberators come in. And well, there's a lot of Corruptors down to the south side as well, though this fight has been very good for SortOf, starting off with the Fungal on those ghosts. That's the real mistake here, and now SortOf pushing his advantage. We see, though, he's all stacked up as Liberators come in once again. Liberators are doing so much, they're going to kill every Broodlord all of a sudden. SortOf is the player who's messed up massively here, stacking everything, trying to attack foes with these Ultralists. I mean, Liberators are going to start sieging now. Big Fungal Growth comes in. A couple of these infestors get out. One of them gets caught in the Fungal. There's damage being done here continuously. A couple of snipes coming down as ghosts come in to reinforce, and while LucifroN does hold on, this game does change in momentum slightly. As you see, Creep just out the front in the center, and SortOf. That was a good fight for him to begin with, you know, at the start, catching them ghosts and the Fungal, stopping the snipes. He got a lot of damage done for free. It was a great fight. He was outnumbering the Liberators with Corruptors. He's catching Fungals left, right, and center. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, he stacks up his units, and boom, Liberators come in, and boom, everything went boom, to put it simply. As we're going to see our Zerglings run on in here, and it's at this point in the game now where the Zerg is, well, it's at this point where the Zerg late game is not as powerful. The Zerg late game is super powerful when it first kicks in, but when Liberator Ghosts really kind of stack up in numbers and really get onto the map, things look, things get very difficult. Now, we could see maybe a attempt to deny this once again from SortOf. That might be worthwhile. I mean, there's not much in the main base anymore for LucifroN, and again, if you're kind of busy with other things at the same time, maybe he doesn't notice it. Maybe you do get a couple Ultras in there, and maybe that's the start of aggression, which kind of puts you into a good position. I mean, even just Zerglings, if Adrenal, actually we don't have Adrenal Glands on the map, so Adrenal Glands might be worth upgrading. He's very low on gas, though. Actually, very gas-starved is SortOf. As you can see an Ultra and a few Lings moving to the left-hand side. A Liberator here looking to go out and harass. We'll spot these units, and actually, you'll see the entire army coming in over here, and a few snipes going down. The Ultras go down almost immediately. At the same time, SortOf is still looking to push up this kind of right-hand side. And he's rebuilt that Corruptor cannon, of course, as he sort of steps away in. I'm just going to clean up a little bit of the creep spread over to the top, so both players kind of fighting in different locations. Another nice Fungal Growth to grab a couple of them ghosts. Yeah, some snipes coming down, but the Queen is able to transfuse. So you're going to see LucifroN continue to move up this side of the map and look to clean out some creep spread, maybe grab an Infestor reinforcing. But he actually lands in the Fungal Growth, so it doesn't really get too much done. Just trades against a few Zerglings, and that will be about it. Both players 170 supply, both in trouble in terms of their bank. You can see another base moving towards the upper left for LucifroN. Setting up maybe even a planetary over here. This is actually the orbital, well, you just brought an orbital here. But a planetary here could help with a couple of Liberators and turrets. He should be very safe in this position. Turrets are very important because the turrets actually allow you to kind of deny the problem is, I mean, the Corruptors can do a lot, so turrets actually deny the Corruptors from caustic spraying. Well, from this position he's worked his way into, though. Look at this Spore Crawler kind of setup with the army overhead. And LucifroN, he's kept this base alive for a long time, but at this point I don't think he can really defend it any longer. But maybe, I mean, let's see what happens. We're going to see him start to lose the mineral line. That Liberator up here is going to get killed off as it has been harassing too. Resources lost heavily in favor of LucifroN in this game. And of course, if you can keep up with that, that's going to be fantastic. Another Fungal Growth coming in before we can really see too many snipes. Another big Fungal. These ghosts, Chain Fungal, no Medivacs to heal. Those Fungals are going to cost LucifroN a lot. And that resources loss tab just jumps up about 3,000 resources. And that is big losses there, as you can see. LucifroN still defending the top side. Again, has lost less than his opponent, so if this continues, if he does stop losing ghosts to the Fungals, then we'll end up in a position where we basically see our Terran player out mining the Zerg. A single Liberator comes forward, but again, the Spore Claws there. It's so difficult to really commit to this with Fungal growths available to Queens. As we do see a nice EMP coming in, I think. On a lot of them Infestors just then. Hitting a Queen as well, so nice EMP. And little things like that are nice as LucifroN just builds up over to the left hand side with Army. Also to the top side he has some bio moving around as well. Still these brutal just hanging over this ledge and consistently just putting on pain onto the putting pain onto the Terran player, just setting up. And I mean, this fourth base is going to go down. I mean, at the same time, LucifroN has kind of held this for as long as he really can, so it's not that bad. But where do you really go from here? I think there needs to be some movement from LucifroN to really force the Zerg player out of this position, force him out onto the map again. In a more open situation, a more open scenario, we can maybe see LucifroN taking a stab at this army. In fact, I think he could trade very well against this army. But, you know, kind of fighting against that high ground position, that was not the scenario he wanted. You're going to see another CC coming down to the top left. You're going to see Marines Marauders trading here with these Zerglings. All of them going down. You're going to see these Marines Marauders up here as well. Also, just going to be working the way against Queen or so. So Queen's going to continue taking damage. Will end up falling. As you see a few ghosts up here. I don't know what they're going to go for with his snipes. We don't have nukes in the game, do we? No, we don't. So, Cloak Ghost, maybe just looking for EMPs on the army. He scans, he sees what it is, and he's going to get right in here. EMPs on all the Infestors. That is huge. One Infestor left at the bottom side. He's just going to start attack moving the Infestors, especially that one with energy. I mean, there's an Overseer coming in. Ghost just moving away to the north. But now that gives a lot, you know, there's a lot of time here now where, realistically, SortOf has no energy on the Infestors, so LucifroN could maybe take a fight and take advantage of that. I mean, surely that's what he's setting up for when he hits that EMP. He knows he's got a, a little while. Well, the Infestors do have, they're regaining energy, but not kind of necessarily able to fungal. As I see this running a big spread here, very ready to come into this fight. I think very ready as he's ever going to be to really take this engagement. Here we go. Sims forwards with some bio. Not going to go with everything else just yet, though. Not going to go with everything else just yet. Still some spores down to the south side. I mean, SortOf still on all of these bases. 65S drones to the 52 SCVs. Ling run by coming in. No adrenal glands, which would be, well, devastating on these Zerglings, would kill so much more, so much faster. And as we're going to see, it's actually very hard for LucifroN to really kind of hold this, because he has to kind of send bio back to deal. So that's the problem with Zerglings at this point in the game. You need Zerglings to kind of, bio to kind of go deal with Zerglings. And that can be one of the more difficult things to actually get, because if you're going to Ghost, you don't have a lot of bio. You can only be in so many places at the same time as well, obviously, if you don't have a lot of it. You see spores just moving forwards into tank range, though. These tanks have been up for a long time this game. Haven't really seen much action. As we see, Vikings and Liberators both just spreading out a little bit, but again, so scared to attack into Queens and Spore Crawlers and more. You just see a drop and loading over here, so a little bit of something to kind of finally distract, sort of. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this from LucifroN for a long time. These Marauders going to go down, more Liberators on the way up, more Vikings too. Stacking up those Vikings, has to be careful though, can't just run into this without any kind of reason. Grabs the fungal growth to the top side, doesn't do a lot. The space goes down, no real response out of our few Zerglings, but that's about it, and SortOf does lose that base, but he's the player with a huge bank at this point. 6,500, 2,500 resources in the bank. I'm just going to see some more Spore Crawlers coming down. I'm going to see a few things just coming in. I'm just going to surround, take down a Marauder, and take down a Marine as well. As we see, again, well, some more damage being done. A couple of Ghosts looking for EMPs from the south side. The Infestor's moving away. He grabs a couple of them EMPs, which he was looking for. So yes, a couple of those. Vikings looking to come in here, keep trading against the Broodlords. And he is trying to work his way against that. As you see his Ghosts coming in, just looking for maybe an EMP. Fungal Growth, though, catches 3 of them. And so they can't snipe right now, as LucifroN is being pushed further and further back in towards his own bases. He's got a lot of Liberators up to the north side, which he is not utilizing just yet. A couple of snipes coming down, picking off Corrupt again. Another one low. As these Lings, Corruptors, the Broodlords, the Infestors, all just sort of joining up and looking to keep on attacking down into this lower left-hand side. Big EMPs once again. The fungal growth, one of the things which, well, more than anything, has been kind of a problem for LucifroN throughout this game. He's still up there in supply, though. He really is up there in army supply. You can still fight this, just kind of spore crawler is going to be problematic still. A few more marauders, a few more marines on the way out. Taking out a few zerglings at the front, a few snipes coming down, getting rid of a few more queens. May as well just get rid of those before they can transfuse anything else. Infestors are rebuilding energy once again, after losing out to those EMPs too. And sort of just keeping on pushing this position, pushing this kind of in this direction, holding this kind of stronghold which he's set up here. And so here we go. LucifroN's going to commit. The Liberators are flying on in. He's killing off a lot of these Brutals. Everything is stacked up again from SortOf. He needs to unstack. The Infestors don't have energy. All they're doing is popping Infested Terrans out. And LucifroN, he takes down a lot here. Takes down a few more Brutals in the meantime. Infested Terrans not going to do too much. I mean, LucifroN lost a lot. Mostly because he loses a lot here, mostly just because he was standing, had to fight into the spore crawlers. But it was a move he had to make. LucifroN is still standing strong, more or less, with the army, but eventually, I think, with reinforcements, might be a little bit too much. There's still a few Broodlords in the sky, and LucifroN, his Vikings are starting to disappear very quickly all of a sudden. Same with the Liberator, and actually, sort of, with the player with the bank, is going to come out of this with, well, a lot, to say the least. A lot. As we're going to see Lings trying to run in. Broodlords are dropping down. Broodlings onto this army. It looks as though LucifroN has been broken in a close to 30-minute game. Again, a length of game we don't usually see too much anymore, although it's fairly commonplace here in the TvZs on Dusk Towers. As this last push in, sort of just looking to clean up now. He's actually losing a lot of infestors, but there it is. The GG is out, and sort of takes the series 2 games to 0.